First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Up Next, postwrestling.com, Apple Podcast, Spotify, whatever podcast app you found us. And of course,
twitch.tv/upnextpodcast. Hello, Twitch room. How you doing?
Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day, Palentine's Day, Galentine's Day, Palentine's Day. Whatever day you were celebrating, just hope it was a day of love.
But most of all,
whatever love.
Happy Vengeance Day.
Happy Vengeance Day. This is the day you can get it all out. The vengeance.
Yeah, did you find much vengeance today?
No, I didn't get. I was kind of I had a nice day.
No beef with anyone at the moment.
Well, I watched Book of Boba Fett and I hated it, so I guess I had beef with that. But that's for a different show this week out on the Patreon. But that's about it. Not real beef. Not real. Did you have a good? Do you have a good Vengeance Day?
Today? Yeah, it was all right. It was all right. It was miserable. You know what? I've been here 3 weeks now, and yesterday was the first day where I had rain since coming back. It's been beautiful since moving to England, and I know we're pretty known for our grey skies and rainy weather, but today was the first day really it's been really miserable, just raining all day. So just been staying inside, rewatching a bunch of Boba Fett for tomorrow's show, watching No Way Out 2002, which we recorded earlier today, which will be coming out on Thursday this week. But yeah, my Vengeance Day was fine. But Valentine's Day was pretty fun. How was yours?
It was pretty good. I mean, well, I kind of had a nice little weekend, actually. I worked a bunch last week. So then at my shoot job, TV job. And then the weekend I kind of spent hanging out with my brothers since our trip in Mexico. So we watched the UFC, which was pretty good. Shout out Izzy. But then we also watched like the Super Bowl, and I love the halftime show. Thought it was sick. I'm a Dr. Dre fan, obviously Eminem and stuff, but I thought that was pretty sweet. You see all the stuff with Snoop Dogg, how they caught him smoking right before.
I did see that. I mean, is it a surprise?
Wow. Also, water is wet. The sky is blue. So is his colors. I love seeing Snoop in Crip colors doing a Crip walk live on TV on the Super Bowl. I thought that was hilarious. And
yeah, there was a lot of walking in that halftime show. That was kind of one of my problems with it. A lot of walking around.
It was also like it was like wrestling or Avengers or something, because then 50 Cent pops up. And I marked
down
out for that.
Right?
Pop down, yeah, really, yeah. I don't know. It was pretty cool. It was like a playlist of all these things, because Dr. Dre like kind of has his imprint on so many things and stuff, but it was cool to see. I enjoyed it. Even the game itself was actually pretty good as well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I stayed up to watch it, and I like I do every year, I play some bets, not really knowing what I bet on, and I was 1 yard away from my bet coming through, which was a bit disappointing. But the game was fun. Like, I think if you're not really a big fan, you want to see a close game. I mean, I think anyway, you want to see a close game, but it just does make it so much more enjoyable. And the halftime show I thought was good. I enjoyed it. Like, I knew all the songs, and as you said, it's kind of like Avengers. Like, I recognize like it's kind of 5 pretty top people like combining, and I thought the set design was really cool. I saw a lot of like best halftime show ever, and it wasn't that for me by any means, but I thought it was cool. And I think it's the same thing when we've had WrestleManias in the day. It's part of it is the spectacle, and I think it was a shame with it being daylight you don't have that kind of crazy light display and the fireworks and all that. which really can add to those halftime shows for me. But no, I enjoyed
Although,
it. It was fun. Like, considering I stayed up pretty late to watch the whole thing, it all held my attention.
like, that arena looks insane. What is it? SoFi something?
SoFi Stadium.
And that's Romania is next year.
Yes.
That looks like it could be just insane, just crazy. I mean, you had The Rock opening the forbidden door from the XFL, introing the thing, the guy from Fortnite, as they said, and I found it interesting. I'm like, could The Rock be introing the Super Bowl here at this arena, stadium, and perhaps be main eventing it next year?
Maybe.
I think he could be back there already. But yeah, it was cool. I like watching the American feed because you get all the cool commercials. Like,
yeah, that was one of the things. Like, I've got the channel where I can watch it over here, so I could have found a stream and like have annoying kind of streaming issues and all that to try and watch the commercials, or I could just watch it on BBC. So I just watched it on BBC and I watched a lot of the commercials after. But it just means every 5 minutes you got these nerds just talking. Imagine having a show where you're just talking about stuff that you've just seen. So boring, right? So that's where I find it frustrating, because it's like I'm enjoying the game and then it's like, let's go to these three guys I don't know talking about how they could have played better. And I'm like, ugh. And so, yeah, I'm sure like the American feed's definitely the way to go. But yeah, saw some cool stuff. That Doctor Strange trailer looks absolutely bananas.
oh yeah, that's true. That looks nuts because I mean, I don't know, it's already out and it's just a trailer. So I mean, Professor X showing up is pretty interesting. I mean, I'm waiting for that X-Men revamp. I just don't know who the issue is casting Wolverine. Like, who we've talked about on multiple shows before. The nerd comes out when it comes to X-Men. I love that shit, but they've definitely dropped the ball on those movies, and I would like to see it be revamped and kind of given some justice in a new universe kind of thing. But yeah, that was pretty cool. I like the Austin Powers one, the Larry the Cable Guy. It's like all retro movies coming back. All these companies spend millions of dollars on these ads. Some of them are just so terrible. Some of them are good. Yeah. Some of them are so bad. But then my Valentine's Day, actually, me and the lady friend went out to see, she knew I wanted to see this. So my gift to me was to go see Jackass Forever. So I had a great night. I thought it was hilarious. I didn't think it would live up. I don't know why. I had this like, I can't be as good. And honestly, it's like as good, if not better than some of the other ones. Cause it's like, it has a little bit of the nostalgia thing, but it's like the Jackass crew are in a modern society. They're I don't know. It was good. I actually highly recommend it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was a laugh. To be fair, like I can't remember laughing that hard at a movie in quite a while. So those guys still have it. You still got it. And I mean, hey, Johnny Knoxville, we could be seeing him in a wrestling ring again because there's rumors of him versus Sami Zayn.
Him versus Sami for the IC title. It's looking like at Mania.
Yeah, so. I think that's probably the only big news that's come out today, right?
Oh yeah, nothing else to talk about. Before we get into all that. Oh
yeah. No, go for it.
I just wanted to say my Valentine's Day, I went to see Back to the Future the musical, which I think you would absolutely love. I'm someone who's seen a lot of theatre in my time, and I've never seen something quite as technically stunning as that. Like I saw a DeLorean fly around in a theatre upside down. Like it was crazy, and it's the special effects. But yeah, the effects and things like in the first half of the show were nuts. But when it came to the big like finale with the clock tower and sending Marty back to 1985, I was just like, oh come on guys, you're just showing off now. It was incredible, and the music was great. Like obviously you've got Power of Love and Johnny Be Good, but they made some songs kind of out of the sort of soundtrack from the film and some new songs as well. It had I saw Roger Bart, who you might not be familiar with, but he's been in a bunch of TV and movies. He was in Desperate Housewives and was in one of the Hostel films and has done a load of theatre. He played Doc Brown and was great. But if it ever finds its way to New York, I recommend trying to make a trip because I loved it, and both my mum and brother thought it was fantastic as well.
I'm glad that you said that, because I wish it did come. I mean, we went to Grand Slam, and I know you went to see a show, but I was like, man, if Back to the Future here in a heartbeat, I would have went, but I don't know if it was a pandemic that stopped it from coming. I do hope it comes over even to Toronto, but New York would be awesome. But damn, I'm glad that it's awesome.
Yeah,
I want to see a flying DeLorean.
Yeah, I've seen plays and musicals where you've had helicopters come down and stuff like this, but yeah, the DeLorean lifted up, came into the audience flying, and then it was right, let's just spin around, do full 360s and things while Marty and Doc are inside it. I'm like, what the how are you doing that? No, it was very cool, and I think I know sometimes if you're a fan, if you're such a fan of the original, it can be kind of I don't know, you're a bit more trepidatious going towards seeing a musical of it, because there's so many things which are X the musical, but no, it definitely worked and was one of the best things I've seen, honestly. So it was really great.
It's wild. Yeah, great Scott. That sounds heavy. No, I would check that. Out of all movies, that just sounds like it would be a riot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's great. But I mean, what were we mentioning before? Or we were mentioning
just slow news day, right?
Yeah, nothing else really happened.
How Canada doing in the Olympics?
I did watch the snowboarding at the Olympics because I'm a fan of Shaun White, and he held his own, but then he eventually came fourth, so he didn't podium. But the dude from Japan who won, and I'm blanking on his name, so that was some of the craziest things I've ever seen in snowboarding, and he was almost robbed by the Aussies. So I'm happy that that dude won, because that was amazing. So shout out Japan and that men's snowboarding trick run thing. It was crazy, it was almost like a double 630 in the air or something, just insane. But yeah, I mean, it's past the Royal Rumble, which means it's WrestleMania season. It's the road to WrestleMania, and I mentioned that
roads to WrestleMania.
The roads to WrestleMania, because I mean, there was a story going around today on the interwebs of the internet wrestling community that there could be the biggest return to a WrestleMania in history. And I mean, is it a forbidden door? What could it be? Because I mean, this guy hasn't wrestled in so long, and I mean, it's going to be in Texas. It's crazy to see that Cody Rhodes is coming back to the Fed.
Stardust himself.
Stardust
will be in the Intercontinental Ladder match or whatever.
Oh wait, am I reading this right? Oh wait, Stone Cold is coming back too, but no one seemed to
Where
care.
Should we start with this? Who should we start with here?
Jeez, what a day. Okay, so the internet's like, hey, rumor is Stone Cold's gonna come in, work a match. Sounds like it's just gonna be hitting a stunner on Owens or something, but going to be doing it. Mania's in Texas. Okay, cool. Pretty cool. And then all of a sudden, hey, Cody is leaving AEW. And then just the rest of the day just kind of rolled out with a message from TK, message from Cody, message from Brandy, that the most important one.
Yeah.
And then Cody got his Twitter back, and now people are saying he's going home. He's going to the land of opportunity. He's going to New York.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. I think these contract rumors have been well, it's been confirmed for quite a while that he's been working without a contract in AEW. But Cody being Cody, you never know kind of what's a work and what's not. There was that very confusing promo leading up to that TNT title unification match recently, but yeah, it seems like he's done with AEW, and it seems like it's pretty legit now. And what are your thoughts on it? Do you think it's a bad move? Do you think it's a good move? Do you care? Do you not care? Whereabouts are you with the Cody sitch?
I mean, it's pretty interesting. I've been a fan of his stuff since he left WWE. I've been even, hey, you know what? I've been a fan of him in WWE. I've been a fan of him, just period. And I think he did a lot when he was on the indies, and then, you know, what seems start AEW and all this stuff and stuff in Japan, just all this good stuff that helped create a lot of other stuff in wrestling. I think he's like a big part of that. But then I don't know. It just seems weird. Obviously, you go, oh, it's a work. My favorite Drake and Rihanna song. It's a work. But like, part of me is like, this guy's just wasn't happy with getting an undercut. He wanted more money. It sounds like, is that what people are going to be saying now? It's like, so I am intrigued if he does go to WWE. I am intrigued if he goes and fights Zack Ryder for the NWA world title. I'm like, okay, cool. He could start his own fed with who do I keep saying?
With Shane, Macaulay Culkin, and Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Triple
he
H.
could hang out. Yeah, I mean, he could. He could. I don't know. It's apparent Dustin Rhodes is leaving. What happens with Arn? I mean,
Is Dustin Rhodes leaving?
No, he's not. Sorry.
Oh, no.
He's staying.
Okay.
Sorry. Dustin's staying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look, if he shows up in WWE, I think they would let him like have this kind of character control and freedom to do what he pleases. But I don't quite know if that's where he goes. Like, if they said like, hey, Cody Rhodes is show up on Raw, I would probably want to tune in and see what that's all about. But I still think like he is doing, because he said lately he's been pushing so hard before all this as well. Like, he's going to do something never before seen done in wrestling. And like, we all thought it's because he was doing this weird meta heel. He doesn't know, he's delusional or something like that. But I still think in his head, he's got some sort of thing planned. I don't know. I really don't know. I am like, hey, it sounds interesting, but part of me still feels like I don't think he's going to show up in WWE and all of a sudden rip off his shirt and show AEW and like,
no,
you know,
no.
I don't know. People are saying, oh, he's going to do a storyline with Triple H, or, you know, team with Triple H, or just, I don't know. Look, hey, if it's a little bump, if he wants to kind of stir the pot a little bit, because that's what he likes to do, then hey, bet on yourself, right? But I'm not going to say it's not interesting, because it definitely is. I am a Cody fan. I loved that ladder match with Sammy Guevara. I was like, hey, if that's the way you're going out, then cool, you put Sammy over. But it's just weird. It's like, were all these stories about the Elite and him not getting along kind of true, or is he just kind of, I don't know. I wish he spoke on it. I wish he, like, you know, I'm not necessarily saying he's going to show up on Talk is Jericho right away, but he should maybe say something, unless it's
only been a day, you know.
Sure, but he has put out that statement, and he has like got what he didn't tweet before or something. What, is he going to show up in the Elimination Chamber? And
well, I mean, he can technically show up, like, he's been working without contract, so he could have shown up tonight. You know, I
give the Dusty Cup.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting, and to think he's kind of one of the guys to start off AEW. It's kind of crazy to think he's leaving. I am interested. I do think he'll be back in WWE. I think WWE is a place that lacks proper real stars right now, and I think Cody has built himself up to a point where he is a recognizable name, not just in wrestling. I think he has kind of broken that barrier somewhat. And I think if he were to go back with assurances that he would be treated as such and wouldn't just be in the mid-card as Stardust, I think it puts a lot of interest on the product. I think WWE could see it as a way of, oh, the first guy to, like, we got one of their top guys coming to us. He's like the first guy to move. I can see WWE being interested in that as well. And I mean, I've been someone who's been complaining about AEW's roster, how they keep on just getting star after star after star. And I got to say, the more people that are added to AEW, I'm like you, I am a fan of Cody, but the more people that are added, the less I am interested in really seeing Cody. It feels like, okay, what can we do with Cody right now to keep him busy? So why not go over there and have some interesting feuds, more of more as a main eventer now, it would definitely make me more interested in WWE for sure, and I would absolutely tune into that Raw he debuts or whatever. And I think it's also quite from his point of view, I'm sure he's got his bucket list of stuff. And I think for most wrestlers, especially someone like him who's grown up with this, being WWE champion is something he'd want to do, you know? And
well, he can't win the title in AEW.
well, he can't win the title in AEW, and I think he managed to squeeze in that third TNT title run very quickly, didn't he?
Yeah.
But I think that is maybe he feels like there's some unfinished business there. It's probably going to be really good money. He's got a family now, you know, he's got a daughter. He's probably looking at how much longer he wants to do this full time before he moves more into doing stuff like Go Big Show or stuff like that and take it easy on his body. And I think him leaving WWE was, we can all agree, one of the best moves someone's ever made, and really did change the business. And I think if he could go back, have a bit of a top run there, I can see him seeing that as another tick, you know? Be WWE champ.
Yeah, in a weird, strange way. The reason I keep saying, I'm like, oh, it feels like it's such a work, because in my strange way of just how I think this guy operates, he's gonna literally get a 2-year contract, 3-year contract. He's gonna go to WWE. He's gonna be, when the part-timers kind of go away again, he'll be the top guy. He'll be the champion. Then he'll be fodder to Roman, your Brocks, or whoever. But then when it's all said and done, and these 2 or 3 years are up, he'll go back to WWE and he'll be the biggest heel, because now he's like, I defected you, I left, and I went and became a world champion and all this stuff. Like it's part of his like long-term thing with whatever this character of Highlander he's going with. But again, I am interested in seeing this. But I do think in a weird way, he's like, oh, I'm gonna stir the thing again. I was too young to kind of, you know, be around watching wrestling at the time and kind of knowing the behind the scenes stuff of people jumping ship all the time between WWF and WCW. So, I mean, hey, it is pretty interesting with this, forbidden, is it even a forbidden door if there's people just leaving? And I guess they're opening the door and they're leaving. Yeah. He didn't escape through the window or anything, but
he just moved house, you know, new door.
Yeah. The new door. Yeah. So it's just crazy. I know we're going to talk all about Dynamite tomorrow night on BD Elite. So remember, we go live at 10:15 p.m. Eastern time on Twitch and record that show. And then the pod is out on this very free feed. And I know we're going to talk about some NXT, but before we do, you mentioned we did record some shows. Yes, it's Valentine's Day / Vengeance Day. Well, to celebrate maybe getting your heart broken, will be your Valentines. And we did a best match ever, Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, from his run from 91 to 98. So just his first run in the WWF / E. And we talk all about that. We did a WCW Super Brawl 2 review. And then we didn't plan to do a double Milwaukee whammy, but we did No Way Out 2002, which is the 20th anniversary, because it's the 30th anniversary of Super Brawl. And we talk about NWO coming to WWF and some big matches: The Rock versus Taker, Austin versus Jericho, Triple H, Kurt Angle, some tag team turmoil, right, Davie?
Yep. Oh, great match.
And then, we have our Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett review coming out. We're going to talk about the whole thing all in one podcast. So that'll be out on the Patreon as well. And then next week, I know we have an Up Yours where world champ patron Chris Leone has picked Les Mis.
Yes. Yeah. The Tom Hooper 2012 adaptation of the musical Les Miserables, starring Hugh Jackman, Russell Crowe, Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah, I mean, our world patrons are amazing. We just had Rush Hour a few weeks ago picked, and now we're going to Les Mis. So we're all over the place with our podcasts. And I know that we've teased some things for March, Davie, but I mean, we teased best match ever, Shane O'Mac, for March. And then we've teased something. Did we tease another best match ever?
We've got the Steiners and Shane O'Mac coming next month. Yeah.
But then, look, we have a show on this free feed as well. It's called Shot in the Dark, where John Cena Evil, he watches AEW Dark and all those shows, including 205 Live, and he reviews them in 15 minutes or less on this feed and tells you all the stuff you need to know. 205 Live is a show.
It's 205 dead now.
205 Live is dead indeed. Yeah. So he won't be reviewing 205 Live anymore, but he will be reviewing Level Up.
Level Up.
It looks like Level Up Next.
Yes.
They're stealing our steez, bro. But yeah, so Ceno's still going to be covering, but it's going to be that show now. So they dropped the purple and they added green and some other stuff there. But, we got to pour one out. You got to pour one out for 205 Live. So we came up with a great addition for March as well. So best match ever, 205 Live.
Yeah, it's going to be a best March ever. Stacked month with a bunch of best match evers.
Best March ever.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a hidden gem show because I know 205 is definitely one of those shows where the people that watch it are often saying, oh, wow, there was a really good match on 205 this week. But not a whole lot of people watched it. So I'm actually quite looking forward to this one. We're going to be talking a bunch about, Murphy, Mustafa Ali, Cedric Alexander, all those guys. So it should be a pretty fun show.
Yeah, so that'll be out in March. But if you want to check out all these other shows we do, go to patreon.com/upnext because it is only $5 a month to access North American patron level, to access like 400 shows, all the best match evers, all the was next retro NXT reviews, everything is on there. Go check us out. Another tidbit of information Cena told me back on that topic, because Level Up. Is that what they call it? Yeah.
Level Up, yeah.
Level Up. They're still going to be doing this show. So it's kind of like the Evolve. It's kind of the
NXT to NXT kind of.
Yeah, it's the NXT to NXT. That's the best way to say it. And since 205 Live is gone now, Cena hit me with this tidbit of information he got somewhere that says the number of WCW Nitro episodes is 288. Apparently, there are 288 episodes of Nitro. There were 267 episodes of 205 Live.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
It was almost there, man.
Almost as long as Nitro. Yeah.
Wow. Rip the purple.
So all that to look forward to on the Patreon, patreon.com/upnext. Can we, because we haven't really talked about it, can we quickly talk about Austin before going into NXT? Because I feel
did we totally?
No, you just said it, but we haven't really talked about it.
Yeah.
So rumor coming out, Austin's been approached for a match. I think Kevin Owens kind of cut a anti-Texas angle yesterday on Raw. That seems to be the match they'd be gearing to if it is going to happen. Obviously, Owens does have the stunner and all that as well. But it's been 19 years since Austin last wrestled, and he's been approached a few times for different matches in the past, and he's never laced up those boots since the match against The Rock at WrestleMania 19. But it is Texas. Money talks. Apparently, he did buy a ring a year ago from High Spots. You see him on those Austin podcasts. He still looks pretty in shape. We've seen Sting at the age of 62 jumping off of stages and things. Is this happening? Are we getting Stone Cold at Mania? And if so, what is your kind of level of interest in that?
Yeah. Look, I love Austin, but I think it's going to be still more of like a quick kind of match. More so like you're not going to get like, I don't know. It's critiquing it before it even happens, but the interest is there. I think the interest was a bit more there a few years ago when CM Punk was still in WWE. I think that was the match. I don't know. For some reason,
10 years ago, right? Punk, like 2013, around then, Punk Austin, like could have.
Yeah, and I swear they did at Texas a few years back then, around that time anyway. So it definitely was like, ooh, that could be. I don't know. That just felt like the proper matchup. Like, who would you book Austin again? I honestly, it's like Austin Cena would be it. Nothing against Owens. I'm a big fan, Steen Owens, but it just kind of feels like all of a sudden he's just, oh, I hate Texas. Well, it's like, oh, is it that's the story? Like, I don't know. I just feel like maybe there could have been something a bit more exciting. Not that I'm not gonna watch it. Of course, I'm so interested in seeing this, but it seems it's like, oh, the guy does a stunner, so I'm gonna fight him because I do a stunner.
Well, I think his character, it works more when Owens is a babyface, because when he was a babyface, he was very kind of Austin-esque, you know, kind of blue collar, anti-establishment kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I think Owens is great. He did just sign that new contract. I don't know how long this is maybe being talked about, but that would certainly be something that, if you're thinking of maybe jumping ship and someone dangles a WrestleMania main event against Stone Cold Steve Austin, that would definitely entice me if I was a wrestler.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. It's like, it is 19 years. I think the match with The Rock was a perfect way to go out. He's been kind of the one guy who has stuck by his guns and not come back. But would I, saying all that, absolutely I'd watch the match, and it would make me, like, that would be, I've been to a lot of WrestleManias, and I haven't been since the pandemic, and I have had zero interest in going this year. But if they did announce that match, I would be like, oh man, it would have been cool. It would be cool to see Austin's return match, no matter how he looks, no matter what state he's in. The wrestling fan in me and the Austin fan in me would want to see that. But yeah, it could be, I feel if you're just doing, as you said, like a match which is just a stunner 1, 2, 3, I don't see the point in doing it. You could do something like you did, you know, at last time they were in Texas with Shawn Michaels, Mick Foley and Austin, where they beat up the League of Nations or whatever they were called. You could do just an angle. If you're doing a match, maybe you have more of a street fight and you have Austin in jean shorts and t-shirt and stuff. But really, if we're going to see Austin wrestle, I want to see proper black trunks, black boots, knee braces, Austin, you know? And we'll see. It's not like the way he adapted his style. It's not like he's hitting 450s and brainbusters and all that, is it? He can work a bit of a brawly style. I don't know. I am interested. I think it is. I agree. Maybe 10 years too late, but fuck yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah, like I'd still watch it, but I do think it's like, I don't think you're going to get what you're not going to get all that. You're going to get the more brawly t-shirt wear. He looks great whenever we watch those Stone Cold podcasts. Like, again, he's still Stone Cold. He's awesome, but I'm just like, it would have been a few years ago a lot cooler with a lot different, maybe a few different people. And again, no disrespect to Owens. It's you hate Texas or you do the stunner and Austin's going to be like, no, I do the stunner. Is that it? Because that's kind of just...
I mean, that's how a WrestleMania build is these years. It's been that for a while. It's Undertaker and Triple H come out, look at each other and look at a sign and boom, match is done. You know, like they're not the most creative when it comes to building a match.
Well, no, because then you could have done Austin coming out and doing that to Undertaker like 10 years ago or whatever. So it's like, I don't know, like it would have worked with him. Like, you can't do the Rock Austin again, I don't think, because I think you're doing Rock versus Roman next year in California. So, I mean, I don't know, Austin versus Cody Rhodes.
I think of the bunch of people they got, Kevin Owens does interest me. I think a Brock match would be interesting because that was the match where he kind of walked out on and was kind of the start. But obviously Brock is already tied up with the whole Roman story. But that is something, if it's not going to be a one match thing, that is something you could maybe do the following year. But I think if you're thinking of people who are, you know, reliable, there is a bit of a connection there. Like, Brock could also just murder you, whereas I think Kevin Owens is kind of trusted and safe in a way. I don't think he's a bad shout. And also, like, I love Kevin Owens. So, like,
yeah,
it would be great.
I do too. I'm just like, all right, well, it's definitely not the match I guess everyone kind of wanted, but I'm sure people are excited to see him. But yeah, it's still an interesting day because on that same day, it's like Austin's coming back. Well, actually, Cody Rhodes might come back. There's all sorts. Brandy's going to come in. She's going to have to win some gold in the WWE. I mean, did Paige Van Zandt technically run her away? It's crazy. We're gonna have to talk more about that on BD Elite for sure. But yeah, just so much going on.
But we should get into NXT Vengeance Day from February 15th, 2022, the day after Valentine's Day. And we open up with a shot of Mandy Rose by her pool with some Valentine's chocolate. And she texts her girls, Gigi and JC, rise and shine, bitches. And we just see the messages going up the side of them texting each other. And then all saying, oh, we're too busy being champs. And Indy and Persia don't stand a chance. And then Tony D'Angelo's just hitting them all up, texting them all. I did catch Wanna Bada Boom from Tony D. Remember, NXT is horny. And and then I think it's Gigi says, oh, what's the problem with a cage and weapons as they're kind of running down tonight's card. And they're checking out Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes as well. So happy Vengeance Day, bitches. But fun, silly, horny opener for Vengeance Day this year.
This felt like it was part of some teen show or like, I don't know, some Saved by the Bell type. I keep saying NXT's Degrassi. It's like, first of all, was this the first time NXT or any wrestling show has started with rise and shine, bitches?
I think that should be our new thing.
Rise and shine, bitches. Yeah, we're going to steal it from Mandy. Thanks, Mandy. Rise and shine, bitches. This felt like it was Mean Girls. They're texting. They're like, almost like the burn book. They're like, ooh, this guy's such and such, or this guy's too. They're like being like bratty and talking about other people, and it's all lovey-dovey, and I don't know. And yeah, like you said, horny. It's just horny.
This show's horny.
Yeah.
And we open the show with the weaponized steel cage match where you can only win by pinfall or submission. It's Pete Dunne versus Tony D'Angelo. Pete Dunne is already in the ring, so we're getting right into the action. He attacks Tony D right away. Tony D comes back and slams Dunne on top of a trash can and introduces the kendo stick, smashing it over the back of Pete Dunne. Tony D then goes to get something out of the red toolbox, but Dunne slams the lid on his fingers and then stamps on it. I thought this was quite a creative use of the toolbox, kind of feeding into Pete Dunne's just hatred of fingers. I thought it looked kind of cool.
Yeah, I love how it's, first of all, this is a weaponized cage match. I don't think I've ever heard that word, maybe like army terms or something, but I love how it's, some of the weapons are all the stuff they use. Of course, there's chairs and trash cans and stuff, but just to, Tim the Toolman toolbox hanging around. I guess Tony the Toolman here, but yeah.
Well, Pete then pulls out a wrench and hooks it on one of the fingers of Tony D'Angelo, pulling it back, and then does his classic kind of elbow stomp whilst the wrench was applied. Again, kind of creative here. D'Angelo then pulls out cable ties, which I thought was a nice little touch instead of the handcuffs, because this is a very sort of mobster thing to do.
Yeah, this is like zip ties, right?
Yeah.
Apparently this happened on NXT UK this week. So maybe he was watching that as well. But yeah, zip ties is definitely more so,
It's zip ties and then thrown in a body bag, isn't it?
And then you're going for a little nap.
But Tony D gets the hammer and uses the back end of the hanger to fish hook Pete Dunne. But Pete Dunne starts getting really quite creative here, as both his hands are tied behind his back, but he manages to jump up and lock in a triangle on Tony D'Angelo with no hands, but trapping the arm in between his arm and his side. And Tony D picks him up and powerbombs him out of it, and follows up with a DDT. Tony D'Angelo then goes for a powerbomb into the table in the corner, but Dunne is able to counter this into a guillotine, still with his hands cuffed behind his back. So the only way D'Angelo can get free from this is by reaching into the toolbox and getting clippers, and he cuts open the cable ties. I thought the whole use of the zip ties here was pretty clever, and even the way he kind of broke free made logical sense with Tony D'Angelo trying to get out this hold. Tony then goes for his classic crowbar, but Dunne pulls him off the cage and powerbombs him through the table. Big reaction from the crowd here. But only a 2 count. Dunne then... Yeah, go.
No, I liked how you were right about the zip ties, like how he was maneuvering with them and like actually how he's able to still take bumps while you're like that. You have to learn how to make sure you don't actually hurt yourself and you can't use your hands to like stop you from hurting yourself, but very impressive. And that powerbomb spot was nice.
Yeah. Dunne then stamps on the hand, picks up his cricket bat, smashes it across the back of Tony D'Angelo, hits the bitter end, but Tony D'Angelo kicks out. He's Superman. He's been put through a table. He's had a cricket bat smashed over his back and been hit by a finisher move, but he's still hanging in. Super Tony D. Tony then goes for the crowbar again, but gets... Dunne goes to use the crowbar, but gets caught with the Fisherman Buster by Tony D.
So Vic Joseph now called this the forget about it.
The forget about it?
They didn't go with our name, Sleep with the Fisherman's Buster, but he went with forget about it. So I kind of do like it because as soon as he hits it, he's like, forget about it.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Dunne then grabs the crowbar, smacks Tony with it, and then hits the bitter end onto a broken piece of table to pick up the win.
Pete's head bounced off the back of that table as well. And he was like, yo, what the fuck? As he was pinning Tony here. Great selling, but no, his head did bounce off that table. This was pretty fun. I mean, you had a hammer in a guy's mouth, pulling at his teeth in his mouth guard. You had zip ties. You had the cricket bat. You even had Vic Joseph with a Ninja Turtles reference because of the crickets. Either Vic Joseph listens to us or also just loves Ninja Turtles. So I thought this was exactly what we knew it was. But it had some pretty cool, like he hit the bitter end, after he broke free, you figure that's it. But instead, there's kickouts like on the moves because it's like they were in the next level, and then it got more violent, and then it was like the bitter end on like the rubble of stuff. So it was pretty good. And it was like just under 10 minutes. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
I thought it was a fun opener. It kind of set the tone for the crowd for the night because I thought the crowd were really hot tonight and they were really into this match. There was some creative stuff that it wasn't just a typical plunder match. They actually thought about some clever spots in this and did some big near falls at the end to really get you biting. So yeah, good stuff for me, and shows that they're still kind of caring for Pete Dunne, giving him a win here, and obviously a bit later we see him featured as well. So yeah, good stuff. Good open to the show.
Yeah,
we go to Cora Jade, who's in bed. I don't know who's filming her here, but I would try and get a restraining order if I was Cora Jade.
Well, he's not in NXT anymore, so you know.
Well, he wasn't in her bed if you're talking about Trey Baxter.
Yeah, whatever happened to that guy? Huh?
So
Trey Baxter. Shout out Blake Christian. Is that who he is?
That's it.
He's lit, man. He's sick.
So I think maybe he just films Cora while she's sleeping, but she gets a phone call at 5 a.m, and it's Raquel Gonzalez who says, only losers are asleep at 5 a.m. Come outside, and Raquel is outside. It's time to train, and we get a bit of a training montage. They go to the PC. It's a lot of kind of the big and small comedy. So they're doing that thing where you got the sort of rope around your waist, and one person's running as the other's holding them back. Obviously, Cora's tiny and is moving very slowly, and then they do it the other way round. So Raquel's sprinting, and Cora's just flying behind her, throwing medicine balls to each other. And then Cora goes to eat what do you call these things again? The kind of microwave pocket things.
Hot Pockets, Pizza Pockets?
Something like that. She goes to eat one of them, and Raquel's like, what are you doing? Only losers eat food. And
that's literally what I wrote. I was like, what? Only losers eat food? Come on, what are you doing?
They then go to the park, and they're jogging and doing sit-ups and doing kind of partner carrying things. So Raquel's just carrying Cora while running really easily, and then Cora's got to get Raquel on her back. But they're training up. They're training. They're tag team partners now, and they want to win the Dusty Classic.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I could like associate with Cora when she's like looking at her phone, answering the phone, like, what? Who's calling me? I'm trying to like sleep. So I definitely was like, yeah, I feel you there. But Raquel's, trying to get her like, hey, you want to be my partner? You got to train. I don't know. Every time they do, since 2.0, they've been doing these weird vignettes with all sorts of different people. And I think it's the same people behind a lot of them. And it gives like it still gives this weird, like it's part of a TV show. And the side story here is now they're working out and getting in shape. Like I'm not against that as the story, but I think the way they're going about it kind of makes it seem kind of cheesy or more like for kids. Like like I said, as a lot of these other promos from anyone, from all of these people since 2.0. So they all kind of feel this way, like really corny, like it's so over the top. Like I know it's not AEW where you have to explain why a camera is filming every time, but like certain things here, it's like, okay, I don't know. I'm interested in the team. I am actually interested in the team because Jade, I think, is someone they could push like, eventually down the line as a pretty big star, and she's so young. And the pairing here is interesting, but yeah, this was kind of like just kind of still just cheesy.
I think Cora Jade's one of the better actors they have there, and I think she does play the kind of the young teenager quite well. I'd say it's before NXT 2.0. I think it's a Jeremy Borash thing. These kind of movies.
He's great though, so I don't know.
Like it's. I know what you mean. I prefer. I know AEW get a bit carried away with trying to explain why a camera's there, but I would personally take, our camera's caught up at the PC, saw that Raquel Gonzalez and Cora Jade were there at 5 a.m. today, and then you could do some of this stuff a bit more naturally. But it's very produced, and it's not really my cup of tea. But yeah, we've been having these a while for NXT now. I think all the Cameron Grimes, Ted DiBiase stuff, all of the Way stuff. We've had these kind of cheesy things for a while, and sometimes they land. Right. Sometimes they land, but I think it does make it feel more fake, the whole thing, and a TV show, rather than necessarily this is some ridiculous stuff that's happening within the world of wrestling. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess it's wrestling. It's a TV show. It's funny, but it's weird. I am interested in seeing them as a pair. They could probably win the whole thing.
We go to the Creed brothers and Malcolm Bivens, who says, we're the ones that put in the work and lift the weights and hit the bags. And Bivens says, the only thing MSK hit is still illegal in 13 states.
I laughed so hard at this line. It made me almost spit out my drink when I was watching this. I loved this line. Great stuff.
Julius goes on to say, the only green we hit is money. Tonight we take what's ours. The Dusty Cup is ours. Diamond Mine forever.
So look, more weed references. Hey, did you know MSK smoke weed? Because even the Diamond Mine know it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm super behind this team. I mean, out of any, I think I've said a broken record here, but out of anything, out of the 2.0 change, it has been the Creed Bros, but most like Diamond Mine is kind of working with Bivens being these guys' mouthpiece. Not anything against these guys talking, but Bivens with the cheap shots here and talking about, again, the weed references here were funny. Like they're like making fun of these, like, oh, we're gonna beat these stoners because we're serious, we're wrestlers. I don't know. I got me hyped for this thing.
Yeah, this whole unit's great. Interesting, Roddy wasn't there at all with these guys tonight. We then go to MSK, who they're talking about winning last year, and Wesley says Nash Carter was even crying last year, and Carter's like, no, it was my allergies. They say we're rising the ranks quicker than Bivens swipes right on Valentine's Day. Shaman Riddle taught us to risk it all and take it all. It's MSK all night and all day. I love these guys when they wrestle. I hate them when they talk. They act like 7-year-olds.
Yeah, like it just cut from the one team literally mocking you for like that. And then it cuts to them and they're like making Tinder jokes. That's like, okay, well, like I agree. I love these guys, especially when they wrestle, but they still have not like come across as just kind of not necessarily not likable, but just still not cool when they're clearly cool. But
they don't come across as real people. They don't seem they're like, oh yes, I'm so excited for tonight. It's like people don't talk like that. Come on. Night and day with these two promos here, I thought. We go to the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match. Toxic Attraction, made up of Gigi Dolan and JC Jane, the champions, taking on the challengers of Indy Hartwell and Persia Pirotta. Now, when Indy and Persia are making their entrance, Toxic Attraction attack them before the bell. They hit double sentons off the apron to the floor, and then finally the match gets underway. We get a fall-away slam from Persia to JC. There were a few kind of like double team moves from Indy and Persia. Persia kind of hit a slam followed by this, and then an Irish whip into a clothesline from Indy. Looked kind of nice. Mandy then tries to get involved and gets sent to the back. You are out of here. We then get a double Samoan drop from Persia to both members of Toxic Attraction, and then a tandem spinebuster from Indy and Persia to Gigi, but JC Jane just breaks up the pin with a senton. Then her and Persia roll to the outside. They're brawling. It looked really kind of scrappy here. These strikes didn't look good from either, I thought, on the floor. But Persia gets sent headfirst into the steel stairs, and now she is out of the game. Indy then goes for her springboard elbow drop, but JC grabs her leg, causing her to eat shit, fall to the mat, and then we get a kind of high-low leg sweep pump kick combo from Toxic Attraction to Indy to pick up the win.
I mean, if it's the high-low, it's kind of a total elimination. Therefore, is it a toxic elimination?
That is what they should call it. Yeah, absolutely.
They should call it that. I love Persia, actually. She's doing like some pretty cool, impressive moves. Double Samoan drop on both of them. She's doing a lot of power moves. I don't know if Toxic Attraction is necessarily hitting the way I think they kind of want it to, whereas I would have been more interested in Indy and Persia winning and kind of being the champs and defending a bit more. I don't know. I thought it would be a bit more interesting. The match itself was fine. It didn't like maybe I would say it's welcome. I thought, but I'm just kind of I don't know if Toxic Attraction is that exciting or no. I think the story they're gonna go with is Indy and Persia and some breakup already with love interests and stuff, which I'm like, okay, why go for that if you can't just why can't you just go for the story of they want to be champions is kind of what they briefly mentioned, and instead they're just gonna go back to the horny shit.
Well, I think we've got the Women's Dusty Cup tournament coming up, so I think you've got the two teams in Io and Kaylee Ray who want to get their hands on Toxic Attraction, and what's the other team? Jeez, I'm blanking, but
Valentina?
No, there's another team who kind of Cora and Raquel who all have beef with Toxic Attraction as well. So I think it kind of makes sense keeping the titles on them for the sake of this tournament, and at least Indy and Persia are coming away with some sort of story. They're building Indy as the weak link, and we're going to get a bit of this love triangle thing with Dexter and Duke Hudson. But I just thought there were moments of this match which were good. Like, I like that both teams are starting to include more kind of double team stuff, and I did think the finish looked good. But then other bits just looked really sloppy, and I agree, Toxic Attraction just aren't really hitting the way I think they think they're hitting.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I guess. Let's move on. What was next?
Okay.
Yeah.
We go backstage to Amari Miller and Wendy Chu. They're talking all about Valentine's Day, and Wendy asks if Amari has a partner yet, and Amari says, "Oh, sorry, I've already got one." And I I know you bought me all those bubbles and makeup, but I'm sorry. So she walks away and Wendy gives her the thumbs up and then the thumbs down. And then sees Dakota Kai, who's sat there wearing heart-shaped goggles and talking to herself as if she is Gollum / Smeagol from Lord of the Rings, because she's going like, oh, you can't tell them. No, you tell them. Oh, I know we won last year, but no, we won't win this year. And kind of doing this schizophrenic two personalities thing. And Wendy Chu basically asks Dakota Kai to be her partner.
It's very, I'm so over seeing Dakota Kai go through this weird, like, how would you describe this like,
I mean, she was Gollum to me this week, 100%.
Precious. No. Yeah, he talks to himself, right? And then it's like Smeagol and Gollum, right? They're two different people. Yeah, it's really weird. It's just because I'm like, yo, you're awesome. We know you're awesome, and you were such a fan favorite here. And I know it's just this phase, and your character's taking a little whatever, but yeah, I don't know. I like Wendy Chu doing the whole like Jim Carrey thing, essentially with the thumbs up, thumbs down, fart noises. But maybe they should partner up. Why not? What a pairing this would be. Maybe Wendy can help Dakota just take a nap, and then maybe she'll wake up and feel a lot better. And then that's how she stops being a heel, I guess.
I think Dakota needs to see Alexa Bliss's therapist, to be honest. But
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Sorry, we were talking about the Women's Dusty Classic. Who was that other team with Valentina? Is it Valentina
Feroz and that's Sino's girlfriend now, right? And
Valentina Feroz. Yeah, he went to a show the other week and he ran into her and he recognized her and he was like, "Hey, I'm a big fan." And I'm sure he mentioned upNXT, and I'm sure he mentioned Shot in the Dark. But shout out Valentina, man. Yeah, she's awesome.
Always hanging around Grand Central Station by the looks of it. But yeah, her and Ulyssa Leon is her partner.
Right.
And then, but I don't know who Amari Miller's found as her partner yet. The mystery continues.
I wonder if she went back to Tiffany, because Tiffany's like, yo, I'll buy you more shit.
Maybe. Is that Amari's gimmick? She just gets everyone to buy her stuff?
Bubbles and makeup.
Bubbles and makeup.
That's what we all want, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
We see Grayson Waller, who arrives with police and his heavy Sanger, and he tells Sanger to wait by the car. And then we go to our favorite segment of the week. You guessed it. It's our friends Briggs and Jensen.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yes.
Smoke them if you got them.
They're at the bar drinking beer, looking like manly men. And Briggs goes, "Hey, Jensen, you didn't tell me how the date went." And he goes, "Oh, it went good, thanks. And thanks so much for taking Casey to the movies to allow me to go on the date with Caden." And he goes, "Well, you know, you owe me $50 for those movie tickets and that popcorn and everything." And went, "Well, I took her for a meal, actually, and we talked about the Dusty Classic, and she even said she's an independent woman and paid for it herself. And you know what? When I took her home, she said something real cute to me. She said, 'To me, you're like a little brother.'" And Briggs is like, "Whoa, Look, buddy, I know you're from Alabama, but that's not good." Hey, we get an incest joke. I did laugh at this line. And then Briggs, and he's like, "Well, no, what do you mean? It's a good thing." And Briggs goes, "Hey, bartender," and talks to Fallon, the bartender. So we've actually got a bartender gimmick now, because this is Tesha Price. We've seen her before. Fallon now.
Bartender Fallon.
Bartender Fallon. Love it.
Trust me,
gimmick.
you don't want bartender in front of your name. Trust me.
And she says, "Oh man, well, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It sounds like you've got a friend for life." And then Jensen twigs that he's in the friend zone and goes, "No!" Like Darth Vader at the end of Revenge of the Sith. And
Hayden Christensen.
And Briggs says, "Oh, he's in the zone." So we got friend zone Jensen here with his little mustache.
So these guys went just when we thought they couldn't do anything more ridiculous, they come out here and they totally redeem themselves with a front. No, these guys are so ridiculous that I can't not watch these guys. In fact, I was literally getting a glass of water when this segment hit, and I stopped everything and sat down on the couch and watched it. And I laughed, I cried, I shook my head a few times. I hope these guys like evolve and get so much better. But wow, this is so bad. It's good territory here. We've now went into a friend zone. We have a bartender gimmick that's probably going to join. Is the story now? Again, this show, we've already discussed the show is too horny, and now we're going into friend zones and dates. And I loved how he said, "I picked her up in my pickup truck." Jensen's mustache does not get enough love. I don't know. He's rocking some sort of is it Morgan Wallen, that country star? He looks like that dude. This is like, so I don't even know what this is, and I love it. I love it.
I'm with you. I'm all in on these two now. But the difference is that the Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez thing was just, it's like, it's not terrible, but it's not good, and it's just cheesy, and they're both better than this, so you're just like, meh. This, I get so much enjoyment out of these two now, because it's just ridiculous, and I want one day to see like a director's cut of all these bits put together. You know what we need, and what will take this to the next level when Jensen actually finally gets a proper date with Caden and makes it clear, and maybe they're going to a prom or something like that. We need Daddy Bull Buchanan to be putting a suit and everything on his son, Brooks Jensen. I think we need B Squared to be involved in all of this at some point. Oh my
God, I forget that that's his dad.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Shout out B Squared. But I think they introduced this, like, they literally said her name. They said bartender Fallon. So it's like, okay, this is going to be a character now. This felt like I was watching like a sitcom or something. Again, like a show where it's not a good show, but it's like they're at the bar. It's like not how I Met Your Mother quite. It's like, I don't know, like
she reminded me of the bartender / owner of the boathouse in Ozark.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. I mean, it looked like it was Nashville, but clearly, like, they're in Florida. Yeah. I would assume. So it's like, yeah, just weird. I wonder if they're gonna. The reason they introduced the character here is I wonder if she's gonna be dragged into the story, such as like, she gets involved with one of these guys, or she joins their team, or something like that, or maybe they turn heel or turn on Caden and Kate. I don't know. Like I said, I hate it so much that I cannot wait to see where it goes. They got me with this the romance.
It's the only thing on NXT every week that I watch more than once.
We still watch that original one.
Nothing.
How do you like your steaks? Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this was great. This was the friend zone. I mean, if me and you do Briggs and Jensen for Halloween, I guess I have to be Briggs then, right?
Yeah, I know. Jensen's stealing my gimmick here.
Yeah, he really is. They're gonna change their names? They're gonna change their names to the Zone, the Friend Zone,
the
something
Zone.
like that.
Yeah, maybe.
BJ Zone.
That could be his finisher, couldn't it? The Zone.
The Zone.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
All right. Well, LA Knight comes out to a huge reaction, big LA Knight chants, and then he is interrupted by Grayson Waller, who comes out with his jobber cops, and he shows the recap of LA Knight getting his hands on him the other week, and he's like, hey, this caused me emotional trauma. I got a restraining order, and once again, he put his hands on me. I can't sleep at night as I'm so full of anxiety. Now, I've shown you the evidence. He's broken his restraining order. Arrest him now. So the police go to arrest LA Knight, but he grabs the restraining order and he goes, I know I got the right to remain silent, but I also have the right to explain myself. And LA Knight shows footage from 2 weeks ago of Waller hitting Knight with the somersault stunner during his match. And LA Knight says, yes, it does say here in this restraining order that I can't touch Grayson Waller, but it also says here that Grayson Waller can't touch me either. And he did it first. So the police are like, we've seen all we gotta see, and they just leave as LA Knight puts in the boots to Grayson Waller, starts beating him up, stomping him down in the corner, and then just launches Waller over the top rope, and kind of Sanger just catches him. This throw looked pretty cool, actually. And LA Knight says, next week, your ass gets stomped out by the one, the only, and the crowd join in with him, LA Knight.
He's like Stone Cold Steve Austin here in the Impact Zone. I mean, NXT Zone. What is this? The CWC?
CWC.
Yeah. They look like there's a lot more people here tonight.
I thought so too. I think they rejigged it or fit in a lot more. It seemed pretty lively tonight.
Because if you listen to us, normally we've been bitching about the fake crowd noise they've been pumping in for no reason at all. But I also hate that backboard design they have that looks like a kid's TV show. It's got people, fake people. It's like, why don't you just have actual people there? But yeah, maybe they had more people here tonight. Yeah, LA Knight is over. Everything he says gets over. I can't say I'm super into this storyline, but I think I feel like LA Knight would fit good on the main roster if given a chance to shine. I really do. So I am interested. I think Grayson should beat him and perhaps LA Knight move up to there. But you know what? I bet the match is good. So I'm not really caring about this. I hate when they do police things and jobber cops and all that shit. So I can't say this did anything for me.
I'm more into it than I was before. Like, these two have been feuding since Halloween, and so it's been quite a while. And I think I'm kind of into it. I think LA Knight's really good, and he's really got the crowd behind him now. So I think this match could be pretty decent. I'm with you. I think he'd be great on the main roster, actually. But you do also need to keep some veterans down here to work with these guys. But I think LA Knight keeps growing on me week after week. And the fact that he's now really got the crowd behind him as well is pretty cool. So yeah, I think the match should be all right.
Yeah.
We go backstage to Persia and Indy, who are consoling each other. And Persia says, it's not over. We're still going to go for those titles, and we will get gold one day. When Dexter shows up, so Indy leaves with Sexy Dexy, leaving Persia on her own, and she looks a little like, nah, about the whole thing. But Duke Hudson walks in and offers Persia his hand, and she walks off with him. So yeah, they're finally going to get it on, I guess.
Interesting. Something's going to happen with these two. More horniness here. More soap opera, romance, and scandals and drama. Just that's what NXT is all about. Just the drama and sexiness and stuff. And hey, even to make it better, then they go from that to a shout out to French Montana, who did the music for tonight's Vengeance Day. The song by French Montana is called If I Go Down, which sounds perfect for a Valentine's Day event.
I mean, to be fair, I think Valentine's Day is the day you're allowed to be a little horny for this show. But
that's what I mean. It's called If I Go Down. Yeah, so I mean, I love French Montana.
We go to Tommaso Ciampa, who's in his room on his chair backstage. And he says, I'm fed up of people looking at me and talking about me as if I'm just part of this farming system. I'm fed up of people like Dolph Ziggler. He confuses my loyalty to NXT for fear. But tonight's not about us. Tonight's about Bron Breakker versus Santos Escobar. And I'm going to have my eyes firmly on that because it's for the same title that I want. And I know that Dolph will be watching too. After all, this is my home. And then he throws the chair away and storms off.
I heard he was on Raw this week, and I didn't see that he threw the chair. He was sitting down on a chair, though.
He was sitting. Well, he did his push it aside and storm off.
Throws his chair away. He says, "Fuck you, Dolph."
Fuck you, Dolph. Yeah, so
This is my home.
Similar to the kind of Grayson Waller thing with AJ Styles, they're kind of bleeding these main roster NXT things over with having some integration on Raw, which I think is kind of cool. And I guess it's a way of maybe Vince seeing these guys on Raw as well and getting a better look at them, because he, I guess, just doesn't have USA on a Tuesday, maybe. Yeah. We have a little... we go to our North American Championship match, Carmelo Hayes versus Cameron Grimes. And they did this a couple of times tonight where the promo sort of starts on the stage before their music hits and they walk out. So you've got Melo who says, "I am NXT's breakout superstar. When I shoot, I don't miss." And Trick says, "That's why he is unified North American champion. I am the A champion." And then his music hits. And he comes to the ring. And hat or no hat, Cameron Grimes, the challenger, comes out with no hat. He didn't take our advice, Braden. And, well, maybe he should have.
Come on.
It's a magic hat.
About this.
I know.
Yeah, you need. I know. It's only February and St. Patrick's Day is a while away. Even though that hat kind of makes him look like a little bit of a leprechaun, but that hat is his demon paint, and he chose not to wear the hat. I thought it would have gotten him that extra oomph, that little bit of a boost here tonight, but he did not wear the hat. I will say Grimes has great gear. He's got some jewels on it, but no hat means no W, I think, for Cameron Grimes. I did love Carmelo Hayes' shirt. I know he had the Rip Roddy one, but here he's got him on his shirt he's wearing. He's got him pouring out one, like a red Solo cup, so pouring one out on Grimes's head, because he's like, "Yo, I'm pouring one out for Grimes." And then he's also got like a hat made that says the A champion. So Hayes, every time I see him, looks better and better. Like if WWE doesn't screw things up, this guy could be a very big star, I think, in not just here in NXT, because it's the feeder system to WWE. I think he will be a pretty big star because he's got a great look. He's got such a great character, and he's already just come into his own here. But the wrestling definitely clicks. This was an awesome match to get into.
I thought his gear looked great as well. He was in a Vengeance Day red shorts. He had like A champion on his knee, on one knee pad and shin pad, and then the Vengeance Day logo / Heartbreak Kid heart on his other knee pad. I thought he looked really, really good tonight.
Yeah, the one knee pad with the HBK was pretty cool.
So they're squaring off. They're in the ring. Grimes points to the moon, as that's where he's going. But Melo sort of mimes shooting it down, stomping on it, and then sweeps it out the ring with his foot. They're going back and forth. Grimes is running the ropes and cartwheels over Melo and then wiggles his butt, telling him to kiss his grits. There's a big back body drop to Hayes. And then Hayes drapes Grimes across the ropes and hits a drop kick, which looked pretty nice. Grimes then hits, is it the collision course? His kind of Spanish fly body slam. Which
it looks great.
Always looks awesome, especially on Melo, selling it great. They're going back and forth, trading blows, and Melo does we see Zach Gibson do this a lot, like the cross chop to the throat to Grimes here. And then Hayes goes for some sort of satellite, but Grimes scouts it and hits the massive side effect, turning Melo inside out here.
Yeah, this one, I mean, he's done it before, but he spins you out, like spins you before he hits the actual side effect, kind of like Matt Hardy does, but like the next evolution of the move.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
Great. He also hit a really nice snap, like Rana, which was crazy too.
He does these great, like no hands, just leaps up, hitting the Rana.
Yeah.
Looks really good. We get Melo's big springboard clothesline, and then Grimes out of nowhere catches Melo with a super kick, 1-2 kick out.
It was the Shawn Michaels spot. Like they sold it. He sold it like Shawn. He acted like Shawn. It was everything Shawn there, but a kick out.
Trick then gets on the apron to try and get involved, but Grimes sends Melo right into him, knocking him off. There's then a poison Rana from Grimes, then the PK to Trick on the outside. Now Grimes climbs to the top and hits the high cross for a 2 count, and Melo then rolls to the outside to kind of gather himself. Grimes goes to hit the cave-in on Melo to the floor, but Melo gets out the way and Williams eats it, taking him out. Melo then looks at his North American Championship and assures it, I am not going to lose you. Not on Valentine's Day.
I love this.
We then get the crossface in the middle of the ring from Hayes, and Trick gets right back up and starts pulling the rope away, making it harder for Grimes. So Grimes can't reach the rope, but rolls Melo back on his shoulders for a great near fall. Melo just kicking out. And then Melo pulls Grimes' neck across the top rope and hits his diving guillotine scissor kick leg drop for the win. And Carmelo Hayes is still your North American champion.
Yeah, Melo don't miss. This was the longest match on the show. I think it was just under 16 minutes, and it was great. We knew it would be great. Cameron Grimes, Trevor Lee, he's been awesome and still just kind of been in NXT for the past few years and kind of in this role. And we all kind of knew, like, hey, I think Carmelo's on this run. It makes sense that he would retain, but we always still like in Grimes' corner, right? We're always like supporting him, and he's just awesome. I thought there was some great back and forth, even just the beginning, some chain wrestling, but just the big like high spots that were treated proper. I talk about the Ushigoroshi is my favorite move. You love the side Russian leg sweep, but Poison Rana is my absolute thing. And Grimes hits a nasty one in this match. It just looks awesome. But I love how now he's incorporated the moon before he runs like with the cave in, like, because the crowd eat it up when he does it. I mean, the crowd's only so big here in this arena, but it was awesome. This is a pretty good match. I can't decide what was my match of the night really, but I did quite enjoy this, as we all thought we would.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this too, and I thought they did a good job of actually making you bite on some of Cameron Grimes' near falls, because I wasn't really expecting him to win, but I liked that. I was like, oh, actually, they might do the switch here.
Should have worn the hat, bro. Like,
He
come
should
on.
have worn the hat. But
He
yeah,
should have known better.
really good stuff from these two. I kind of wonder what is next for Grimes, but Melo is really impressing with all of these title defenses here. He's been great since the breakout tournament. Good stuff.
Melo don't miss.
Melo don't miss. We go backstage to Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai, who are going to be teaming up for the Dusty Cup. And Kaylee Ray's holding a baseball bat and she just smashes a glass on the table and goes, hey, Io, do you want to smash some shit as well? And Io's like, nah, it will ruin my style. Kaylee Ray goes, come on, look, it's fun. Look, you hate Toxic Attraction. You're not wearing any gold right now because of them, and they injured your partner, Zoe. So Io's like, okay, give me the bat. And she smashes up a glass when Zoe Stark is there, and she's like, yo, what the fuck? Why are you smashing shit? What's with all this mess? And Io then grabs her like teacup out of her hand, her coffee mug, smashes it on the floor, and says, I like her, referring to Kaylee Ray, which she's never said about Zoe. But also, Since when did Zoe Stark care about making a mess? Do you remember that sushi restaurant where she was just throwing food all over the place? And now Zoe's got a problem with making a mess?
At least Kaylee Ray does it in a contained area that probably, is a rage room, or the Kaylee Rage room.
Yeah.
I think, as we call her. But I think it's so weird. Like, we made fun of the 205 live gimmicks, and then hers is just, hey, I smash shit. I know these things are popular these days, but it's just funny that this is what I'm watching. Like, it felt weird. I was watching this and I was like, this is just strange. Like, of all the things, like, I get it. You're always angry and you're raging and stuff. It is funny that all of a sudden Zoe goes, oh, I do like you, like, right away, because she's into
Io saying.
Io says that. Yeah, because she's just into break stuff. That's what I want. A break stuff music video with them just smashing shit. But yeah. I love Io Shirai. I think Kaylee Ray is pretty good too. So hey, let's see where it goes. Zoe gonna play the jealous ex in this kind of?
Yeah, I don't know what her time frame is, but it's an easy story to go to once she is ready. The two partners of Io that Io well, I guess she's made a choice. She likes Kaylee.
She likes Kaylee, yeah.
Yeah. We go to the final of the Dusty Cup. We get a nice video package kind of showing previous winners. Dusty kind of talking about tag team wrestling, all of that. And we go into MSK versus the Creed Brothers. Creed Brothers with a great entrance here. Bivens comes out holding up the John Cena towel saying, "Never give up," and then turns it around and it says, "Nah, they should." Funny stuff.
Yeah, this is pretty good. I love Bivens, man. He's so funny.
You've got MSK who are cutting down Julius with their combo kicks and leading to a double stomp to the back from Nash Carter. Wes Lee gets involved with a great-looking con hilo to the outside. I love how he does it almost over the turnbuckle. Gets so much height with this thing.
Oh, just crazy. The height this guy can get, yeah.
There's then a gator roll into a gut-wrench throw from Julius, just throwing Nash onto the top rope here. And then he pounces Wes Lee off of the apron, so he goes crashing into the announce table. Nash Carter then comes back with some fabulous-looking kicks to both Julius and Brutus. And then with Julius on the floor, Nash hits it's Wes hits the hot fire flame, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so the hot fire flame is the one where it's usually in the ring and the guy's laid out and it's like a standing moonsault and Wes pushes Carter and he like flips in midair.
Yeah.
But here he's on the apron and Wes is on the other side of the ring, like the ropes, and he says, "Push me." So he jumps off the apron and gets pushed onto the outside. So yeah, I've not seen them do this, at least in WWE or NXT thus far. They do the standing variation before, but this one looked pretty cool.
This looked really good.
Because people are always like, "Oh, why would he just push him?" But the way that his own partner pushes him makes it so much like faster. There's lots of force behind it, so it does kind of make sense. But imagine doing this spot like even higher. I'm kind of interested in seeing them do this, like what, off a ladder,
off a cage,
honestly off something. But yeah, you'll see it one day. It'll be cool. But hot fire flame.
Carter hits a swanton to Julius, and then his momentum, he like gets right back onto his feet and then hits a drop kick to Brutus off the apron, which looked really nice. And Wes Lee follows up right away with a spiral tap. Like MSK, they're annoying on the mic, but they're so good in the ring. Just their chemistry together, all their kind of combos and everything just looks so good. There's then an assisted cave-in to Julius, so kind of Julius is across the knees of, I think it's Carter, and Wes Lee hits the cave-in.
Yeah. How is this not their finisher? It's way more devastating. I know it's Cameron Grimes' move, but like this move is way crazier than their finish. Their finish is just a blockbuster heart attack. It's like, it doesn't look that great, but this looks deadly, and the guys always kick out of it.
Nash then hits like so Brutus hits a big move and then kind of poses and roars. And as he's doing that, Nash comes up behind him with almost a V trigger to the back of the head, and then follows up with a tope suicida to Julius. But Julius catches him, gets him on his shoulders, and hits his cartwheel DVD, but on the floor.
This looks like he broke his own neck.
Yeah, I know.
What was he doing? I had to watch the replay. I was like, yo, what just happened here? It did look like it would hurt him, but he doesn't break his neck, clearly. But wow, this move is
his
dangerous.
head's so close to the floor. But yeah, I guess he looked fine. Rolls Carter in the ring and then hits his huge lariat for the finish. And the Creed Brothers are your 2022 Dusty Cup winners.
Yeah, I mean, this was the match I was most looking forward to tonight, I think, because the Creed brothers have been on this kind of run. We say every week, like, they're two, like, young guys that are just built for this almost, like two Brock Lesnar's, two Kurt Angles, two Shelton Bench. Just the wrestling is definitely there, and they've definitely been improving. And this was probably my favorite match from them thus far. It was under 10 minutes long, which I wish they kind of went a little longer. That seems to be my gripe with NXT 2.0. Even on one of these like specials like today, they still had a lot of like backstage and, vignette shit that could have been, saved for next week and given more time, because this is the finals of the Dusty Classic and it didn't even get 10 minutes. I felt a little shortchanged, but still there was some good stuff from these guys, not taking away, because in that 10 minutes there was just wild stuff from MSK with those crazy high spots and just Creed brothers. They're going to be big stars, I think, because there's two of them. And Malcolm Bivens goes with them so well, and then like when they're celebrating afterwards, the shot of Bivens is just like he's just in shock. He's like, oh my god, we won, yeah. And then he's like, we won, and there was people in the crowd doing the Hova, the Jay-Z, the DDP diamond thing. So like that could get over. I guess you might find some issue with Jay-Z, but that could get over. And I don't know, man. Diamond minus forever. I'm sold.
Yeah, I really like this match too. I'm with you. I could have done with another 5 minutes, but we don't know. Creed brothers haven't been doing this long, so maybe it's to kind of protect them a bit. You know, hide weaknesses and show off strengths. Maybe they're not necessarily ready to go 15-20 at this point. I don't know, but I thought this was great. Really enjoyed it. Can't wait for Imperium versus Creed brothers. That sounds nuts. And
oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't think you can necessarily hold that off to the don't call it takeover at Mania, because that's still a bit far away. But yeah, I'm very looking forward to that when that happens. And I think MSK are maybe good to move up at this point.
Honestly, yeah, move them up. I wouldn't mind them. I know Riddle's with Randy, but I would imagine Randy versus Riddle at WrestleMania is potentially the match. But MSK moving up with Riddle would make sense. But just moving up in general, I think they could find bigger things to do. I think
MSK Usos could be great. You know, like
we'll talk about
really fresh.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Usos in a little bit, maybe, actually, because there's definitely, I don't think we might see MSK move up, but we might be seeing the Usos in NXT. It looks like as well a little bit, but yeah, I wouldn't mind MSK moving up. I think there's a lot more. They just need tag teams up there, don't they? So yeah, bring them in. Maybe pair them with a leader with them, but I don't know. Riddle, obviously, because they keep calling him the Shaman and talking about him, but still.
We go to Nikita Lyons. We've got another vignette for her. And this time she's got a kind of dance routine going on. She's got some backing dancers. Look pretty good, actually, in like a dark lit room. She says, once my dad sat me down after a gig and told me I need to stop beating up people. And then it cuts to her kind of dancing away. And that feeling of crushing a routine is only compared to knocking someone out in the ring. I'm a whole lot of woman who's about to do a whole lot of whooping. And next week, you better watch out for this Lions Roar.
Wow. So are you slowly becoming a fan of Nikita Lyons?
I think I'm as we said, okay, you're a singer. How is this going to work in a wrestling context? But watching her kind of mixing, doing the dancing, and then cutting to her with like a punch bag and doing all the strikes and things, it looks like she can definitely fight. So I am intrigued to see her. I've not watched her on the show formerly known as 205 Live. So I am interested, and I do think her delivery with these lines and these kind of pre-tape things, I think she sounds pretty confident and stuff. So if that can carry into her kind of in-ring promos or backstage promos, she could be one to watch out for. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see her next week for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. It's not like it's a Jillian Hall, like, silly singing thing, like she's an awful singer. She's saying that she's in the music thing, then it cuts to her being like a badass. So it's kind of almost like a best of both worlds. I'm not saying Hannah Montana, even though it's the best of both worlds, but it's like there's two sides. She's not just a fighter and she's not just this. So, I mean, hey, like, we haven't even seen her wrestle yet if we haven't watched 205 Live, but I know Cena, who does Shot in the Dark, he's mentioned her, but I mean, hey, maybe she does go pretty far.
And at least in a way, unlike the kind of poker gimmick and other sort of gimmicks, she's kind of justified why she's a fighter, because she grew up in this kind of rough world where men could maybe take advantage of her and stuff, being on the road with a band and that sort of thing, and therefore she had to learn to fight to stand up for herself. Like it kind of does make sense, rather than oh, I'm a poker player and I wrestle on the side, which is like, okay, but marry the two together. What's the connection there? You know,
I like how her quote is, "My dad had to tell me, yo, stop beating people up, stop hurting people."
Oh, my dad always says that after I record.
Yeah, I mean that was the first advice my dad ever gave me was don't stop beating people up. I'm interested. I want to see nunchucks. She's got great gear as well.
Well, we go to Imperium, who are in the ring. You've got Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel looking so cool and suave in their turtlenecks, and then you got Gunther in his polo.
Yeah, well, man, what was going on here? So they say it's Imperium, and I think they call him Walter again, and he's
the announcer goes like Fabian Eichner, Marcel Bartel, and Gunther, and he goes, "Nein, it's pronounced Gunther," but then the crowd are all just going, "Walter." Yeah.
So they're dressed like, I mean, Imperium don't look real anyways. They look fake, like Euro models here. And like they look dressed to impress, as always. They always look good. But I love the turtleneck from Martel here. But Barcel? Yeah,
Marcel.
I'm always messing up. Fuck.
Rick Martel Barcel.
But then Gunther, I'm calling him Walter. Walter's here in like this like polo. He didn't look necessarily like, he's gotten in phenomenal shape as well. And I'm like, yo, why don't you look like didn't anyone know, like, are all your friends? It's Imperium, yes, men. Did they just go, yeah, you look good? Like, Davie, when we have a night out, back when we could do those sort of things, you'd be like, yo, should I wear this shirt tonight? And I go, yeah, you should. You should. As friends, you tell people. Sometimes I go, Dave, should I wear this? And you go, no, not tonight. You need no, that's not the vibe tonight. That's not the move. Like, we're bros, we do that. So wouldn't they? Because like they got style, and they could have just taken him out shopping because he's wearing like Mark's Work Warehouse, like dad polo here. Like, no, not saying there's nothing wrong with wearing that, but you're a wrestler and your two guys beside you look fresh.
I'm trying to think because he couldn't. I don't think he'd rock the turtleneck necessarily, but
where's jacket?
Yeah, I think maybe his ring jacket with a black kind of round neck t-shirt maybe would look good on him. It is. Yeah, I'm trying to think because he looks better in his Speedos, doesn't he? Like, he looks way more intimidating in just his Speedos. But yeah, we need to sort this out. Not a navy blue polo shirt.
It's just weird. It could have been black and it looked better.
I think so, yeah.
It could have been like, oh man.
Also, we just never see wrestlers in polo shirts. It just looks weird.
We see bowling shirts a lot of the time.
Bowling shirt, yeah. Could be better than this. But anyway, Fabian Eichner says, congratulations to the Creed brothers, Dusty Cup Classic winners. Marcel, after a grueling tournament, you've earned the opportunity at our tag team titles. And then Gunther, to truly understand what Imperium stands for, you must be willing to suffer through anguish and misery that you are not ready to endure just yet. And Marcel and Fabian have brought honor to this great sport. But for me, it's time to set my eyes on championship gold in NXT. Tonight, I'll be watching Bron Breakker and Santos Escobar with high interest. We are Imperium, and for us... And they're interrupted by an Uso. Solo Sikoa comes out. A lot of Uso chants from the CWC. And Solo goes, look, we get it. The mat is sacred, but I don't give a damn about the mat. On the island, you got to climb the ladder to find the biggest, baddest dude and slap the taste out of his mouth. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, I don't care how you say your name. I'm going to wipe the mat with the ring general and make you my bitch. And he steps up onto the apron, and Marcel and Fabian go to attack, but Gunther holds him back. Like, no, lads, not right now. 9.
Wow. So there's a little bit to unpack here. I mean, Imperium are claiming their They're like, hey, we're the champs. Doesn't matter. The Creed Bros. We beat you before. We'll beat you again. Doesn't matter. We're gonna take over this thing. We have Gunther calling out the NXT champion, either Braun or Santos, after later tonight. But then Solo interrupts and clearly wants a match with Walter here. So clearly we're going to get some sort of one-on-one situation between Solo Sikoa and Gunther in the near future. I wouldn't be surprised if they announce it next week or the week prior. But there's three of them. It looks like Solo might need some friends. He might need two people to help him. And I mean, the crowd certainly were cheering for them. And I think, wouldn't that be cool if you could, like, you brought up like right away, like, yo, this guy should already start teasing stuff for the bloodline. And it's like, here you go. You have the Usos come in for the save. Roman sends them down. He gives the blessing to the Usos to go help him out. And they have a tag matches with Imperium, or 6-man tag matches with Imperium here. And that kind of will definitely put Solo in the deep end with like working some pretty big matches. But I mean, we talking about the stand and deliver thing. It's either Creed Bros versus Imperium at stand and deliver, or Usos versus Imperium at stand and deliver, by the looks of it.
Yeah. I think that's really, really interesting. I think Creed Brothers versus Imperium would have to happen before then. Like it's a long time before stand and deliver, but maybe you could hold it off. But yeah, so
or the Usos face Imperium, and it's not for the titles if Imperium lose it to say Creed Brothers. But Usos versus Imperium sounds like it could happen in a 6-way thing with Solo and Gunther and stuff. But
I mean, I think
it sounds pretty good. I was interested. It
seems more likely now to happen than it did during kind of Black and Gold era, to be honest, because we're seeing a lot more integration. We've had Dolph come down, we've had AJ come down. I think that'd be great. Imperium versus Usos and Sikoa could be awesome. But as we've always said, any Walter match I'm interested in. So Walter Sikoa is interesting to me.
Yeah, Solo has this like kind of, they call him the street fighter, the street champion. That's what they say. But he gives us like kind of rough vibe, and I would like to see him fight Walter here. I know we do a show, Was Next, where we go back and watch retro NXT, and we're better half of 2013 now, and we don't really see the Usos on there anymore, but they were on NXT quite frequently when we were doing that show about the last year, talking about like 2000
Ascension Usos. That
Usos were all over. Yeah, they were all over NXT for quite a while there. So it would be cool to kind of see them come back, but that's just me speculating. But could happen.
We go backstage to Dolph Ziggler, who's wearing a Toxic Attraction T-shirt with his blazer just over the top. This guy can dress well, I think.
What about his hair though? What was going on with that?
He had like his kind of bangs coming down.
It's like bangs. Yeah. It looked like I don't know what was going on.
Yeah. He says, I got a drink thrown in my face, but I kicked Ciampa in the face. And it must be nice for Ciampa, living in Florida all the time, getting to go to the beach, be in the sun all the time. And he made it to Raw the other day. I guess he got a cheap flight and got the cheap seats for Raw. And I bet Ciampa really enjoys signing a lot of 8x10s in Florida. And NXT may be his home. Well, next week, I'm kicking the door open to his home. So we're getting that match next week. Dolph Ziggler, Tommaso Ciampa.
There was also a mention of drinking milk out of the carton. Is that like an Anchorman? Was he trying to do like bad choice? It's like it was a bad choice kind of thing.
Oh,
maybe
okay.
I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know. I never know with Dolph Ziggler,
But yeah, so that is going to be next week, and we then go to Mello and Trick, who they're kind of just talking about Cameron Grimes, and Trick was like, "Wow, that guy was kind of had your number there for a bit," and he goes, "Yeah, he's good, but what's good to someone who's great?" When Pete Dunne walks in and goes, "Congrats, mate, still North American champion for now." So that's going to be the next challenger, Pete Dunne, Carmelo Hayes, which should be a cracking match whenever that comes.
Hell yeah. I don't know if that's the stand and deliver one, but that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we go to our main event for the NXT title. It's Bron Breakker defending against Santos Escobar. Now, Santos comes out with like NWO style LDF, almost LWO font here. With his boys.
Yeah, LDF, but in the like New World Order or Latino World Order, right? LWO World Order stuff. I loved Escobar's
poncho.
Poncho. I just the other day watched Fistful of Dollars, Clint Eastwood, and I'm like, man, it looks like the style of the design is similar to this one, and then he's got his logo here on the front. But I'm like, man, that shit looks cool. He's coming out here with his gang, like at least like they're putting something behind it to make it look like it's a big main event match here.
Joaquin in a great red suit for Vengeance Day there. He looked awesome.
Yes.
And then Santos wearing these kind of Eddie Guerrero inspired blue pants. In the whole Eddie design with Legado on the back where it would normally say Latino Heat. And it's
So it was like purpley like Eddie. So it's 18 years ago to the day that Eddie beat Brock.
Yeah.
For the title. So he's got these like purple things that does look like Eddie's gear here. It was pretty cool.
Look nice. But Bron comes out and we've seen him break the old NXT black and gold logo. This time they've got last year's Vengeance Day logo on the stage and he sets it on fire. This guy just hates the old era. I think at Stand and Deliver, he's going to bring out Triple H in a body bag and just set him on fire as well. Just put an end to it all.
He's gonna the final version is him bringing out Triple H and murdering
and
him
Sean
in his entrance. Yeah, breaking the throne. He's gonna break Triple H's throne with Triple H on it. That's what he's gonna do next time. Jeez, this gave me Jurassic Park vibes. He liked the what do you call those things? Like the flares.
Yeah.
He like lights the flares at his feet. The way it's shot, it was pretty cool. And then he drops it, and it like goes and lights the whole. It was like Mask of Zorro. You know how much I love that movie. It was, and then it lights that whole big old V up. He just loves burning all the old shit. Like, yo, he hates the old days, bro.
He'll drag out Jason Albert, Matt Bloom, whatever you call him, and
imagine that would be crazy. This guy was heel, which he got some booze here tonight. So I mean, you could turn him heel, and if that was the story, that would be hilarious because then I would do Triple H versus Bron Breakker at Stand and Deliver. But no, it was a pretty cool entrance for this guy. It's unfortunate though he decided to wear losing colors for his gear.
Yeah, he was kind of in. I mean, it looked like RVD's singlet.
It did. Yeah, it's the Bengals though. It looked like a tiger.
It's the Bengals,
Cincinnati.
But, I mean, is he? He's not from Cincinnati. Is that his team? I don't know.
I mean, it did look like the RVD one, so I did think it still looked pretty cool.
Yeah, but he looked good. We get into the match. There's a delayed vertical suplex from Bron, followed by a kip up, then a big clothesline from Bron. Escobar comes back with a tope suicida to the outside, and now he gets the advantage on Breakker here, and gets him on the steel steps, and kind of does a Boston Crab, but squeezing his face against the ring post. And then I've not noticed this before, but there was kind of like this little box at the bottom of the ring post with NXT written on it, and he just started slamming Breakker's head against it, and it kind of. I mean, not as violent as Nigel McGuinness, but it didn't look protected at all. It just looked like he was smacking the back of his head against this thing. Pretty nasty.
What was that thing? Yeah, I couldn't figure out what that thing was. I'm like, is it soft and that's why they're using it instead of like the ring post? But in reality, it's him slamming his head against something.
Yeah.
It looked like it hurt. Yeah.
Escobar is then cranking on the neck back in the ring, but Bron fires up and starts delivering some shoulder tackles and clotheslines. Legado del Fantasma tried to get involved, but Breakker beats him up. He throws Joaquin into the ring wearing that lovely red suit of his. And then Elektra Lopez gets on the apron for the distraction. And from out of nowhere, Dolph Ziggler comes in, delivering a super kick to Bron Breakker. And now Santos goes for the pin, but Bron kicks out. Ciampa now comes to the save to beat up Ziggler. I thought that was a great near fall after the super kick there. We then get an Eddie style tornado DDT where Eddie used to do it where you kind of land on your front almost with it, and
this
really
was like exactly how this is the move Eddie hits on Brock in that match.
Right.
Actually.
Okay.
If you remember, Goldberg interferes in that match and attacks Brock, which I think eventually lets him set up. But he hits the DDT like I think on the chair or something like that. But yeah, it looks just like it here. Looked great.
Santos then climbs up to the top and goes for the Eddie frog splash, but Bron scouts it, so Santos rolls through, but then gets speared by Bron and then picked up into the military press power slam, and Bron Breakker retains. Yeah,
huge spear and huge military press power slam move. Those moves look pretty impressive when he's doing them on guy. I know Santos is a little smaller than him, but still looks great. I mean, Breakker, he's pretty good. He's for how long he's been doing this, man, he is impressive, and I think we will be seeing this guy advance this year probably into the WWE main roster system. But yeah, I still enjoyed this match as well. It kind of had a little bit of everything you expected. You knew it's like you knew Escobar he's not winning. The crowd were kind of behind him though. There were a lot of boos other than the dog barks for Breakker, but you could turn Breakker heel eventually, right? Like it is something that could happen. But it was cool to kind of see Escobar in a main event spot and get a title shot, but we knew he wasn't winning. But he had some cool stuff. Legado got involved. It was basically everything you kind of knew they were going to do, and I didn't dislike it at all.
I get a little bit tired of all the Eddie tributes all the time. I feel I mean, rest in peace, like love him, Eddie Guerrero, but every week I feel like we're celebrating some sort of anniversary of Eddie Guerrero and someone's doing an Eddie Guerrero spot.
Bro, why do you hate Eddie Guerrero? What's wrong with you, bro?
But I thought it was actually quite clever in here, and as you said, kind of reenacting that No Way Out match against Brock, where you had the outside interference leading to the finish, and I kind of feel that's what turned the crowd, because I think they actually started to believe that Escobar might win this, because there definitely weren't as many boos for Bron at the beginning of the match as there were at the end of the match. And I think they did a good job at kind of making you think, oh, Santos could actually do this, and being one of the sort of people that have been there a while, and we all like Santos Escobar and would actually love to see him have a reign. I think because they bit on these falls, it kind of gave Bron more boos when he eventually won. Whereas I think going into this, we thought, it's going to be a bit of back and forth and Bron will hit his move and win.
Again, for some of these people in the crowd, they've been going to NXT. Yes, it was in Full Sail, but they've been going to Full Sail or CWC for a long time. In fact, because Santos was in the main event, there was a few people in the crowd with the phantom masks, and one guy had the whole getup. He had the mask and the cape and everything. So like people, we have been watching this guy for a while, and like when he first showed up with that whole storyline with the mask and the cruiserweight thing, you kind of went, hey, this guy could be a big deal here in NXT back in the black and gold days. But it's still a pretty fun match. What was it? I think it was a little shorter. I think it was like 12 minutes long, but still I didn't hate it. I still liked it. I thought the whole episode was pretty good, way more good this week. Like it had proper matches. But what would you say was your match of the night? Because I think for me, it's the North American title match.
Yeah, I'd either that or the tag match. It's between those two. I might.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
For sure.
I think the North American most probably, but all the. I really enjoyed the opener actually. The steel cage match was pretty fun. I thought this was a solid week for in ring for NXT, and none of the kind of backstage stuff offended me too much really. This is definitely the formula I like. I much prefer having sort of 5 matches that go at least sort of around the 10-minute mark, give or take, than 8 matches with 4 of them being 3 minutes and vignette after vignette after vignette. And I think last week they got the balance right as well. The week before was awful. That's when it was just segment after segment after segment. But I quite enjoyed this episode. It kind of moved faster than usual, and the in-ring stuff was pretty good. They've got great people in this company. You know, it's we're at that rebuilding stage, but I think you're starting to see people like Carmelo Hayes become a bit more of almost a veteran in NXT now at this point, and there's a lot more people I'm interested in than I was at the beginning of this 2.0 move.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, when they first started, definitely. I'm like, okay, it's a whole reset. Got to get used to all these new characters of your TV show. They gut out. It's Degrassi, the next generation, and it's like, all right, cool. And some of these characters, I definitely have gotten behind. Definitely the Creed brothers or something there. And hey, Bron Breakker. I mean, it's clearly something's working there as well.
He's
but
good.
Interesting to see where it goes. They did announce, obviously, next week is Grayson Waller, LA Knight, and Dolph Ziggler versus Tommaso Ciampa. So that's kind of a big main event.
Yeah.
For NXT, Ziggler versus Ciampa, 1-on-1. You would figure it's a number one contenders match kind of thing, because I know the stand and deliver thing is supposed to be at like noon WrestleMania weekend on maybe the Saturday, the Sunday, one of the days. And they're going to air this thing live from noon. And it's going to be don't call it a takeover, but I do think you could do Ziggler versus Bron Breakker. You could do Bron Breakker Ciampa one more time. You could do Pete Dunne versus Carmelo.
Yeah.
Could do your Imperium versus Creed, or if the Usos get involved, or Gunther, Solo Sikoa in there as well. So there is a few.
There's definitely interesting combinations there, I think.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot that they can mess around with and go towards. So cool. But yeah, that was NXT. I enjoyed it.
All right. Shall we go to some feedback?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. Every week we put up feedback on forum.postwrestling.com and the Facebook group. We encourage you to join our Facebook group. Just type in upNXT group on Facebook. But I'm going to go to the forum first, starting with a Mr. Andrew Thompson, who says, Solo Sikoa cut a strong promo. I know all eyes are on Gunther, but I wouldn't sleep on Solo being involved in the NXT title picture. He's a natural on the mic, and the obvious six-man tag is just waiting. That shit is going to be a hit if it happens.
It will be. Shout out Andrew Thompson, by the way. Love you, Mr. Thompson. We go to the Facebook group, which you should join if you haven't already. upNXT group on Facebook. Corey writes in, tonight's episode was more bad than good. Toxic Attraction continues to flop. None of them are any good. Also, I hated the interference from Mandy, but at least she got ejected. Mello and Grimes was good wrestling-wise, but again, there was too much interference. Why the hell wasn't Trick ejected? He was caught at least twice trying to interfere. Breakker Santos was also fine, but again, a ton of interference, including Dolph Ziggler. Also, the audience is turning on Braun. I'm like, this is the most main roster show in a while. I'm completely done with almost everyone in the current champs. Imperium haven't done anything with the titles. Mello should have dropped it tonight. And Toxic is an absolute failure in pretty much every regard. And they are dragging the division down. Overall, pretty bad episode of NXT, as even the good moments couldn't save it. Damn. Corey did not like Vengeance Day.
We go to Alexander from Portland, who says, good show overall, but I didn't find anything particularly great. Breakker seemed to be getting a fair share of boos after he won. I wonder if the crowd is souring on just how hard he's being pushed. Carmelo and Grimes was fun. Dunne going for the North American title is a great program. Volta and Solo should be a hard-hitting match, but I need Volta versus either of the Creeds at some point. I'm finally glad I'm finally glad Io found someone she likes. I wonder if Zoe might interfere against Io and Kaylee Ray out of jealousy. I don't know who should win the Ladies' Dusty Cup, but Raquel and Cora winning would be underwhelming. Raquel doesn't need a second win, and using this tournament to put over Cora sounds unnecessary. Lastly, Duke Hudson is an absolute creep.
The home wrecker. No, he's not home wrecking anymore. He's going after the single lady.
Yeah.
All the single ladies. Duke Hudson. We go to Megan from the Facebook group. Melo Grimes was my match of the night. Tony D'Angelo is good for only having a year's experience under his belt. And this series with Dunne bodes well for his trajectory. Creed Bros got the credibility they need by winning the cup. Breakker Escobar was a solid main event with Ziggler running, almost knocking it off the rails. When did Dakota Kai become a schizo? Yeah, it seems that way.
Been brewing for a while. And finally, we go to Sean, who says, while a good show overall, Vengeance Day didn't measure up to previous New Year's Evil or even Halloween Havoc. One annoyance is the use of vignettes and backstage segments during these special episodes. They make it feel like a regular episode of NXT as opposed to the special events they are and take time away from matches. Match-wise, the opening cage match had some solid violence, but I was surprised Pete went over. Toxic Attraction had their best match as a tag team, but they still have a way to go. Melo and Grimes put on an absolute banger and the clear match of the night. MSK versus Creeds was also excellent, but I wonder what's next for MSK after another big loss. Future does indeed look bright for the Creeds. The main event was good. I thought the match was slower paced than Bron's match with Ciampa, but it made sense in the context of the match. Escobar trying to wear Bron down. That said, I could have done without all the interference. Legado is one thing, but Dolph and Ciampa was too much. Save it for after the match. That said, Ciampa and Ziggler next week should be a great match. Yeah, I am looking forward to that next week.
Yeah, I think the match itself could be pretty good. But yeah, I kind of agree with some of the things people have said. Thanks for all the feedback, guys. We appreciate it. Again, join that Facebook group. But like everything was good, but nothing kind of tonight really blew me away. But necessarily, I didn't really hate anything. In fact, I love/hated the Briggs and Jensen things. So like, I was just guess it was all right. It was all right. It was a pretty good Vengeance Day, huh?
It was. Yeah, I had a good Vengeance Day this year. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, we're going to do this all again tomorrow night with BD Elite chatting all about Dynamite, including, I mean, we used to talk about a guy on this show for quite a long time, Mr. Keith Lee. And now the Forbidden Door is open. He's over there in Dynamite. We'll talk maybe all about him. Maybe he'll have another match tomorrow night, but Dynamite's looking pretty crazy as well. They may have lost Cody Rhodes, but the TNT title's on the line because Sammy and Darby sounds pretty lit, but we'll be talking all about that.
That's happening tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. Isn't it tomorrow night? Yeah. Darby versus Sammy.
Damn.
And
I didn't know that.
Danielson versus Moriarty. So.
Oh, wow. Okay. Awesome.
It sounded like a pretty good show and some other stuff. So yeah, we'll talk all about that tomorrow on this very free feed. All the free podcasts here. Give us that nice review on Apple Podcasts if you're listening on there, and shout out anyone watching on YouTube or Twitch and all that stuff. We appreciate you guys. And of course, patreon.com/upNXT, $5 a month, North American tier. All these podcasts, all at your fingertips and ears at your disposal, because we love to do it. That is it. That is all. Am I missing anything, good sir?
Yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Buy a t-shirt from prowrestlingtees.com/upNXT. Listen to Shot in the Dark tomorrow on this free feed. And, have a good night.
Yeah. Pour one out for 205 Live.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, the purple ropes, the purple everything. Wow. Yeah, but hey, best match ever, 205 Live coming in March. Best March ever coming soon.
March ever.
That's it. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And vengeance. I am vengeance.
Rise and shine, bitches. Ahoy!
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking these things as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.